Hi everyone. I thought I would give you a update on my health. I've talked about it before on this channel and my Canadian Studmuffin channel. And, when I talk about my issues and everything, it's not so you feel sorry for me. I'm not looking for pity because there's a lot of people in this world that suffer with chronic pain. And even though I have chronic pain, there's people far off worse than me, so I realize that. And I'm going to just ramble all over the place. I'm going to show you some of the products I bought in the last couple of years. And, sometimes they help, and sometimes I think maybe it makes my issue worse. So it's kind of been difficult for me. And I'll also talk about the patch I'm on. This is called a Bowie patch. There's different levels. I think it starts with 2.5 mcg or something like that, and then 5, 10, and 15, and the limit is the 20. I'm on the 15 right now. I was on the 20 last year, but these are expensive, so at the moment I'm on the 15th, on the 15 Bowie patch. And this might be a long video. So my story, sorry, I was just thinking. So my story is, when I was at work for the last few years, it started with like tendinitis in my arms years and years ago. It would go up my arms. And then when I was at work, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I started to have pain in my shoulders and neck, and it was pretty bad. So I ended, my family doctor, who's now retired, should have done something about it before, have x-rays or an MRI. I had an x-ray first, and then I had an MRI a couple of years ago, and they found that I have Chairi Malformation 1. If I remember, I'll put a little thing here in case you don't know what that is. And it has to do with fluid in the skull, and I don't even understand it all myself. I'd have to reread it. But one thing I've never told anybody, even my girlfriend Molly, is when I was a teenager, maybe 18, 19, and then later on in my life, I don't know how often it would happen. Try not to gross anybody out. It's not that gross, but it's still no blood or anything. But once every few years or whatever, I would hear in my head like this liquid, like running, it'd be really weird. And I'd think, what the heck's that? And I guess it's from the Chairi Malformation 1. And I guess Chairi Malformation 2 is even worse. And who knows, I might even have that by now, because it seems to be getting worse year by year. So actually, even before that was diagnosed, I don't know how, it was kind of a miracle, I was put on long-term disability with my work. So somebody must have known there was something serious going on. And so for the last 2 years I didn't work. I was on long-term disability, and now I'm retired, age 65. And so money's a little tighter these days. And somebody just asked yesterday, Marianne, I believe, she just give me a heads up that there were ads in the middle of my videos, because I used to say, that's one thing I don't do. I don't put ads in the middle of, at the start and the end, yes. I care about my viewers. I don't want to bother them with ads in the middle. But now that I'm retired and I need the money a bit more, I do put it depends. I try not to put too many ads in my videos, but I do put ads in there. And that's also another reason I started my Patreon page. Not just for the money, I promise that, but it helps, and so if anybody wants to help out, just at the $2 level on Patreon, and there's I think over 300 videos that you can watch there of song and album reactions. So the link for that is below. And so yeah, this patch, I'll show you here. At one point, I didn't realize I was going to get 10 patches at one time when I went to the pharmacy to pick up these patches. So it was a bit of a shock to my wallet. But I was actually lucky. So 10 of these patches, the 15, were, doesn't say here, but they were over $500, just over $500. But I paid $311, which is still a lot, right? And this has PFS eligible, so that's why they took off that $200. But I've tried to look it up online, what that means, and I can't find it anywhere. So if anybody knows, let me know. And this patch isn't covered. There's this thing called Trillium. I actually went to, on the weekend I went to see a doctor about changing to some other prescription that's cheaper, and he was saying this is the safest to have. But he said to go talk to the pharmacy about Trillium, which, you know, for drug benefits, and they might be able to help out. But of course, the Butrans patch is not covered. Lucky me. And there's no other kind of version of that that's cheaper. It's the only one. Yeah, so that's why you'll see, you know, in the pinned comment, I promote my Patreon, and like I said though, I would actually, I do like doing the Patreon reactions, but the only thing is I'm in chronic pain, so it's not as enjoyable as it could be. But I love music, and I do love doing the song and album reactions. So for those that have joined, I think some people don't bother giving me a song reaction every week, even though they're paying for it. And I want them to give me a song reaction. You know, whatever level they're at, please. So the other thing is, that's been really frustrating, is I've had 2 MRIs. The first one, they just did my spine, and it was supposed to be this area. So when I went to see a specialist in Mississauga, just outside of Toronto, 2-hour drive. Thank you, Glenn Kellaway. The X-ray is not what he was looking for. He was looking for this. They did the wrong. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I had it last November. They did the X-ray here, and if I remember, I probably won't. I'll put the results here. And I was expecting to hear back from the specialist, and I never did. I called once and there was no answer, and you get so frustrated, you kind of just give up. But when I saw not my doctor, but some other doctor on the weekend, and he was looking through my notes, I was supposed to contact the specialist. Stupid me. So I'm going to be doing that later today, and hopefully see him again. And because there is surgery that can happen, and I would definitely, even if there are dangers to it, I would take the surgery over this. Living in chronic pain sucks. But I will say this too, there have been the rare days, and I don't understand how it all works with health. I'll get up in the morning and I'm doing stuff, and it's like I'm really not in any pain, or very little pain, and it is so nice. For those that have never had chronic pain, you'll never understand what it does to you. But that's why I love doing my YouTube channels and Patreon and all that. It keeps me busy, keeps me creative, and I would never stop that unless I couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, like I said, there's days, the rare days, when there's not much pain or very little pain, and then I'm thinking it's connected to something, one of these items I'm going to show you, and then I'd use the item again, the whatever it is here, the health thing, and it wouldn't help. So it's just very confusing. And then a couple of days ago was probably one of my worst days for pain. And but then yesterday was better. And the other thing too is, along with this patch, I am taking extra strength Tylenol every 4 hours, 500 milligrams. But just during the day. I don't take it like for 24 hours. Just during the 12 hours during the day, every 4 hours. And at one point I was taking 1,000 milligrams every 4 hours, but I stopped that. And I even have taken Advil with the Tylenol. You know, you gotta do, it's like, you gotta do something, right? So, in no order, here is some of the stuff I bought in the last couple of years. This is a Homedics. It's a massager. So you would lay down and it would feel so good, right? And it massages, and there's different levels and everything. I think I've shown most of these products on my Canadian Studmuffin page. And it's a good product, like all of these are good products, but are these helping me? I don't know. Or is it making things worse? So there's that. So I rarely use that anymore. There's this large mattress. It's actually pretty short though, and I'm 6'3", but this is like maybe 4 feet long. And it's a massager too. It's heated, but it doesn't massage that strongly. It's a good product, I will say that, and it's relaxing to lay on, but you know, I wish it was a little stronger for massaging. I have more than one heated blanket. And it feels good when you're using it. I also have this, which you put in the microwave. You can put it in the freezer, or you can put it in the microwave and heat it up, and then put it wherever, you know, like this. And it's very hot. It works well, but then the heat doesn't last more than maybe 10 minutes, and then you have to put it back in the microwave or whatever. And that's very heavy. It's got beads in it. So once again, everything's a good product, but is it helping me? And when I was on the, or even before I was on the long-term disability, I went, you know, I had massages done, I had acupuncture, on my own accord, paying with my own money. I went to see a, what do you call it, that does your back there, and the first time I saw him, he snapped like that and it cracked, and I was thinking, maybe that's all. This was before I knew I had Chairi malformation, so maybe he shouldn't have even done that, right? But neither of us knew. And it actually, the next day at work, I think, I did feel better, and then it just came back. I've tried, marijuana and all that. The only thing marijuana does is get me high. It doesn't take away the pain. And the liquid stuff, I forget what you call that. I tried that for a bit, and once again, for a day or two, much less pain at work, and then the pain came back. So it's always frustrating. Another thing I bought is a neck. This is a crazy looking device. You can use it either way. So you lay down, and then you'll see lots of videos on YouTube about it. And it kind of stretches your neck. But once again, I don't know if this is making it worse for me or better, so I've stopped using this. And speaking of acupuncture, well, there's 3 more things to show you. Like I said, I've spent a lot of money in the last 2 years and more trying to get better. So speaking of acupuncture, I bought this looks scary, an acupuncture mat. These are plastic and they're sharp. And you lay on them. And I've used this at least a dozen times. It is a bit painful to lay on it, but it's even more painful getting up from it because it's like sticking to your back. And once again, I think this is beneficial for people, but I don't know if it's beneficial for me and the issue I have. One of the first things I got was the Dr. Ho's pain therapy system, which cost a couple $100s. And when you're using it, there's large pads, 2 large pads, or you can use the 4 smaller pads and put them wherever you want. And when you're using it, once again, it feels good, feels great. But does it help me? No. And I probably have 2 or 3 other things, but I forget. Oh yeah, there's 2 more things to show you. I bought a chair massager because I sit at my computer a lot. And this is excellent, but it doesn't help me. So I am glad I bought this because Molly has used it, and I might even try it again sometime, but it is excellent, an excellent product, and I reviewed it on my Canadian Studmuffin channel. And this last product was actually sent to me, so it was a sponsored video, and I did a review with Molly. Was it on this channel or the other one? I forget. But it's Ached Away. It's a cupper, which I had no idea about. This company wrote to me and said, "Hey, would you like to try our product?" And I said, "Sure." So there it is. Looks pretty scary. And it is scary using it. And there's different levels. It's an excellent product, really, not cheap. And you would put it somewhere here, or wherever you want to put it there. And it's really gross, so I won't. Maybe you want to check a video on cuppers to see, but you actually see your skin. Your skin kind of goes like that inside this cupper, and it deflates and inflates, and it's gross. And then afterwards, I actually used this a few days ago, and it leaves really big bruises and marks. It's, like I said, it's gross. And this was what I was using, and then the next day I had one of those good days, and I was thinking, oh, it's the cupper, maybe I'll do it again. And then the next day, no, I was still in pain. So it's frustrating. But once again, these cuppers, I think, are beneficial for some people. Probably just not me. I think that's it. I've done enough whining for one day. So, yeah, if anybody has any suggestions, especially if they live in Ontario, for any kind of help, and I am going to be, trying to contact the specialist after this video, and hopefully get to see him again. And that is it. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. And don't feel sorry for me. No. Overall, I always try and stay positive and try and stay in a good mood. I hope Molly's not watching this. She'll disagree. But no, overall, like I said, I love doing these YouTube videos and Patreon and just keeping busy. And so, thank you. Bye.